We are now live, guys. Welcome into Wade's Ventures YouTube channel. Guys, let me say hello to a few people in chat. But welcome. Guys, you know, Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, we like to invite amazing guests on my channel. And today, Monday, Tuesday, we had no live shows. So I had to make it up to you guys. Hopefully today makes it up. We've got a fantastic guest. What's going on, Texas Gal? Welcome in. All right, guys, so let's get into this. So first and foremost, today is going to be a lot about, just eBay in general, selling online. And I've got Chris here. He's got an amazing YouTube channel, really cool Instagram. And I'm going to ask him both how he got started reselling, ask him some personal questions, but then we'll try to get some nuggets in here. And sorry, guys, it may be a little light. We've got 20 people watching so far. Let me say hello to a few people real quick. I did change the time because I know that it's NBA season finals right now, so maybe light. But Flippin' Daily, what's going on, buddy? My amazing admin, what's going on? Pac-Man, what's going on? Anderson, what's going on? 2018, World 2018, what's going on? Amy, what's going on? Debbie, what's going on? What's going on, Flats? How are you? All right, guys, so first and foremost, I'm going to ask those of you who are in chat real quick, Cavs or Warriors tonight? Let me know in chat, Cavs or Warriors. And then while you guys are putting Cavs or Warriors in here, let me have our amazing guest, Chris, introduce himself, guys. And what is NBA? All right, Chris, take it away, buddy.
All right, so my name's Chris. My channel is Liquidation OH. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, own website. I got a blog going, so you can find me basically anywhere. Mainly sell on eBay. I've been eBay member since 2003, so I've kind of sold on and off for a little bit. My mom called me a junk man when I was growing up because I kept everything. I had a bunch of toys. I love tag sales or garage sales, as they're called. So I'm from Ohio, or I live in Ohio. Been here for about maybe 8 or 9 years, and that's kind of high level.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that I've creeped on a lot of your videos, and I think you have an amazing amount of knowledge to spread here tonight. And then also, periodically, Pac-Man's going to put his YouTube channel in chat. My second question before we get started is I'm curious because a lot of people are already subscribed to you. You have so much content out there. I'm curious, guys, if you are subscribed to Chris or not, please put it in chat. Let me know if you're subscribed to him. But that being said, Chris, so are you full-time, part-time? You said you've been doing eBay for a while. I'm really curious.
So I have a day job, so basically 8 to 5. I do travel with that sometimes, so a couple times I'm out for a week or two for a month. Every other month I probably travel, but yeah, so full-time job. And then basically I'll thrift during lunchtime. I will purchase wholesale liquidation and then basically get home at 5 o'clock, be with the kids and family till about 9. From 8 or 9 till about 2 a.m. I'll source, list, get stuff ready, channel, website, videos.
And that's if the kids go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Like, how do you do full-time job? Because I was there 2 months ago. So how do you find time for a full-time job, the family, of course, eBay, which is, a full-time job, definitely. And then YouTube, which is definitely a full-time job editing videos. Like, how do you find the time?
That's the trouble, right? Because now I'm kind of maxed out. If you say time and process is really what's holding me back. So I'm trying to optimize time, right? So I have to use every minute. I try and keep lists throughout the day. So I'm at work. I have some downtime. I'm going to write down what I'm going to work on when I get home, what I need to do. I know I'm at least going to list. I'm going to try and source online. And then I'm at least going to have a live show at 10. So between those times, I'm either going to source product online, list, have the show, and then I'm going to list until I need to go to bed. But I'll usually go to bed 1 or 2, get up by 6:30.
So and we'll get into this towards the end of the show here after we dig in a little deeper. But a lot of people say you do live shows at 10, right? I never catch you live, but there must be a lot of night owls in this chat then that have requested.
Yeah.
How is your wife so amazing to let you do all this? I mean, I know it's money, right? But she's got to sacrifice a little bit because you're working quite a bit, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, she knows once the kids go to bed, I might hang out for 30 minutes, maybe an hour. If usually Friday, Saturday nights I'm kind of free. We'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, she knows I like to come down in the basement. The only thing she doesn't like is the stuff that's piling up. So as long as I get that organized and show her that it's not taking over everything, but
guys, it's good to have a wife that's on your back a little bit, because if that wasn't the case for a lot of us, we'd be hoarders, like legit hoarders, trying to get stuff going.
The difference between hoarders and eBayers? eBayers have listings.
See? Oh, dude, I have not heard that yet, Chris. I have not heard that. So tell me a little bit, and guys, just so you guys know that are new to the channel, by the way, if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you subscribing to this channel, and I appreciate you subscribing to Chris's channel, guys. So if you guys we'll put the link periodically, subscribe. What we do here is we shout out what number you are. I know he has quite a few subscribers, but I'm curious. So that being said, guys, I wanted to have him on here because he's got a lot of knowledge. He's been on eBay for a while, and so hopefully I can get some good nuggets here. So typically what we'll do at the beginning of the show is we'll ask them personal questions. I like to get to know our interviewees, and then we'll get into the good stuff. So real quick, tell me a little bit about how it works for you. Like, are you listing and storing everything in the man cave there?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah. So basically, either if I get a wholesale or liquidation box, come home from work, I'll grab it, bring it down to the basement. Thrifted items, I'll put in a box, bring it down here. Kind of ends up on the floor, but as I go and list it, I have designated spots for certain things. So I will put it in shelves, I will put it in bins, and I will put them all together. So I know where I can find things.
Now, just so everybody's clear, are you only on eBay, or are you on other platforms like Amazon as well?
eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, and Marketplace.
Again, guys, I don't know how he has the time, because I didn't have the time, especially with two kiddos. Do you mind telling me their age?
Kids 5 and 3, boys 5, girls 3. They're in daycare. He's starting up school. He does sports. So I got to manage time between, they do swimming during the week. They do skating during the week. He does hockey on Saturday mornings. So that's kind of where, time management.
Yep. I just saw in the back there, you have the hockey stick. And I was just going to, but
got all that.
I'm jealous of your man cave, by the way. And
yeah,
that's just a thing. So you told us kind of what state. Oh, show that again, Chris. Sorry, I was talking.
Oh, you're good. So there's jerseys on the wall. You can see some stuff down there that I'm listing, but I got stuff back here. Got some NASCAR diecast stuff on the wall. There you go. So, and it goes way, the inventory is way in the back there.
Chris, isn't it amazing to have, first of all, it's cool to have a man cave, but it's even better to be a thrifter, an eBayer with a man cave, because you're always looking for stuff to sell and you're always going to find stuff for your man cave, right?
You know how many times I find stuff that's pretty cool? I'll keep it for a little bit and then it eventually sells, or I'll just keep it. Like I had a Boston Red Sox lamp. I love the Red Sox. And it was a touch lamp. I bought it for $8, sold it for $100. It was awesome. I used it. I was sad to see it go, but I'll take $100. Oh,
heck yeah. I'll take a Benjamin sometime. You'll find cool stuff along the way. That's the beauty of it. So tell me a little bit about kind of, now you said we're going to get into the liquidation and pallets and stuff like that, but are you doing any kind of one-off thrifting? Like what other options do you have to find merchandise there where you're at?
So I started off, I basically sold stuff around the house. That's how I started, right? And this was onesie twosies years ago. As I said, I started watching YouTube. I said, hey, liquidation. Actually, it was my father-in-law. He gave me an article that was about liquidation.com. And it was over the summer. They said, this guy's making all this money. And it was on cell phone cases, go figure. But so that's kind of where I got into the full-time trying to do it and get liquidation. But basically, I started with liquidation, watching all these people on YouTube, and I said, all right, thrifting. thrifting, you can have a large return on that. So I said, I got to add that in. And then I don't know if you're part of the PS 101 group on Facebook. I found them, and that's kind of what got me in the wholesale closeout. And they vet all the liquidators, and if you want to join that, but that's a great resource as well. So I started off, I was buying 3 to 4 liquidation.com lots a week. Lunchtime, every day at lunch, there's a Goodwill right by my house. So I go there for an hour during lunch, and I come back to work. And then at night, I'll look for product, and downtime at work, I'll search online for what my different contacts have in terms of closeouts and wholesale.
First and foremost, do you mind if you're in chat typing in that Facebook group's name for those people that are watching, that are curious about it? Is it PS 101?
PS 101, Product Sourcing 101 group. I think it's, if you do productsourcing101.com, it pops up the Facebook group, but I can send you the link.
Okay, cool. Because I get a lot of questions. Like, I'm a big fan, especially full-time. It was different when I had a full-time, when I had a job and I was doing this part-time. But now that I'm full-time, I think it's really important for me to have, I know that liquidation, returns, stuff like that, it's not guaranteed merchandise, not the same merchandise, but I wanted to find a way to have 20 to 30%, roughly, where it comes to my house, instant inventory, especially when you're full-time. And so I'm actually looking into a lot of this stuff, and I'm glad that you're on here, because I want to pick your brain for everybody that's watching, because there's a lot of people that live in rural areas or just have a full-time job and don't have time to thrift one-offs constantly. So I think it's really cool, and that's why I appreciate your YouTube channel too. I know that you do one-off thrifting, but it's really cool to see somebody do it and be successful at it. So without further ado, let me ask one more question, and then we'll get into this. What role does your wife play in this? Does she help you with your reselling journey at all? And then also, question number 2 is, do you have any brothers or sisters or friends or family that you've tried to teach how to sell online?
So yeah, my wife, I don't want to say doesn't help me, but she has her own, she sells makeup, unique makeup. Dog's going crazy. But she sells unique makeup. She does not help at all. It's strictly me. I'm listing. I'm sourcing. Stop it. I'm listing, sourcing, getting everything ready. One-man show till 2, 6 to 2. And then my whole family's from Connecticut, where I grew up. I have a sister who's, I think she's a sophomore in high school. But I got on the show sometimes. I'm trying to get her to start, because my mom has all my stuff. My mom collects things all the time. So I'm trying to get her started. But she's my project.
Does your mom ever, or your family ever, give you stuff to sell, or they find stuff and they say, hey, maybe you can sell it?
Oh yeah. So my grandmother had to move out of her house. So she lived in Western Pennsylvania, Butler. It's above Pittsburgh. She had to move, and out in the farmlands, they would go to a garage sale, and they would want things for $1, $2. So they basically had me come over there with a Penske truck. I picked up everything, and I sold it all, mainly all the furniture local and all the vintage stuff online. But my mom will find stuff. She'll call me and say, is this worth any money? And she'll send me boxes of stuff sometimes, or bring it back. But yes.
Real quick, I have 3 dogs myself, and I feel like he wants to be on the show. He or she. Do you mind just showing us the dog real quick?
Being aggravated because get over here. Yeah. Sit. Usually he doesn't come down here since my wife's not here.
Uh-huh.
There you go. And his name's Fenway. Fenway, like the ballpark.
Oh, that's a fantastic name.
Yellow lab.
Does he shed a lot?
Yes. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of white hair all over the place.
So you said you stay up until 2 a.m. Do you drink a lot of coffee?
Yeah, I'll have those Keurig ones that makes the big 5-cup things. I drink all that in the morning.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I can imagine. All right, let's get into this, guys. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. Chris, first of all, before we get started, I have some questions here. And those of you who are watching, I have not shown him these questions. So if you guys have questions, put it in chat, and I will ask them. I promise you. And but let's get into this. So first, can you do the basic? What is the liquidation lot? Like where does it come from? Start with the basic, and then we'll go into kind of what sources you use, like the Facebook Marketplace app and stuff like that, and different ways to help you. And then we'll dive into there. But first, like, what is a liquidation lot?
Okay, so liquidation can be very profitable, or it can be very deadly. So you basically have to be cautious. You have to do your research, and this is where I try to help people. So when I started, I just looked for something and I bought it. Now, liquidation is anything that you buy at a store. Like, you're a consumer, you go to Target and you buy something. You go to the store and you return it. Well, usually the stores won't take the time to either put it back on the shelf, or Amazon won't resell it because they don't want to give you crap merchandise. They will lot all that stuff up and they will give it to a third-party provider. So you think about Blue Lots, you think about liquidation.com. All these people have websites that they're selling stuff. And this is where it can get dangerous, because you can have random liquidation people, not liquidation.com, but random companies that will buy pallets and just resell them. And it could be broken merchandise, or it could be the junk that they cherry picked. So I recommend, if you're going to go into liquidation, they're all returns. So think about stuff you return, right? People return electronics because they don't know how to work them, but they're brand new. So you get them and they're like, oh, this is brand new. Or someone said, hey, I want this Ring doorbell, and I'm going to swap it with some clay, send the clay as a return, and keep the doorbell. So you'll get that in your lot. But if you think about liquidation, you have a couple types of liquidation. You have shelf pulls, where the store basically says it could either be an old model, and these are all actually pulled off the shelf, and they're new, 9 times out of 10, they're new in box. You have return merchandise, which is what we talked about. It could be anything. Open box, it could be used, it could be broken, it could be missing pieces. And then there's salvage, and I think I'm missing one. But the salvage is basically the liquidator knows that this stuff is parts, pieces not working. It could be working, and they just label it as salvage. So that's the higher risk. Now, you're going to pay more for a shelf pull versus a salvage lot. So when you're looking at these things, and always, I personally will always stick to a manifest only lot. What that means is, when you're talking to a liquidator, you want to make sure that what you're looking at is manifest. And manifest is like a receipt. So when you get the manifest, it'll say this has 4 tape measures, value of X. This has 4 light bulbs, value of X. You want to know what you're going to get in that lot. So that kind of better prepares you what to expect. And then categories. You have tons of different categories: housewares, furniture, tools, electronics, anything you think about. So if you're passionate about a category, go in a category you like. Go in a category you know. I'm not going to go buy housewares because I have no idea how to fix a mixer. But I'm definitely going to go to electronics. I love electronics. I can learn to solder. I can learn to switch and mix parts out and make a complete unit. Stick with what you know, and then eventually, once you grow the capital, go get a furniture liquidation lot. Furniture does well. You can buy a furniture pallet, put it all together, and you could double, triple your money. Now, again, the risk is that it could be broken, it could be missing pieces. So you got to take the lumps and just go back into it and vet who you're buying from. That's the big thing. Know who you're buying from. That's what's great about PS 101, because they vet all their suppliers. But I can keep going. But
So tell me real quick, like, what's the benefits of doing this? Like, for the average reseller, because for me, I've seen liquidation lots. I've actually bought not liquidation lots, but lots off of like GoFundMe.com and stuff like that. Different, government entities that have a lot of clothing. But liquidation lots are, by the way, guys, like, think of the average like employee at a Target or Walmart. Like, they're going to just throw it in the pile of which would be then your liquidation. I mean, a lot of people just don't know, if it's out of if it's a return, a lot of like stolen, I would imagine a lot of stolen merchandise too. For example, a lot of people will steal merchandise, return to the store, for gift cards. Like, there's a lot of gift card stuff. I don't know. I've heard a lot of that. So a lot of this merchandise, like you said, Chris, may be brand new, right? So I'm really curious, like, what's the benefit for us as resellers to do liquidation? I would imagine if you're in a rural area, you don't have a lot of great places to source this would be fantastic because it gets sent to your door, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and if you guys want to try liquidation.com, I have frequent discount codes I give out monthly, so feel free to stop by. But basically, you're sourcing product, and it comes to your doorstep. But there's still work involved, just like thrifting. Once that gets to your door, that's really when the work begins, because you have to go through it. You have to test every single item. You have to charge it. You have to listen to it, pair it with your phone, put it together, look at the contents on the box. So the work's still there. But the thing I love about it is, Wade, what you said, it's on your doorstep. And if you know the products you're buying, like I know that when I get a WN 300 unit for Linksys, those are mostly going to work. And even if they're broken, I can sell them. So as I start learning different products that come in these lots, I know I can make money. People buy broken stuff all the time. So learn that. So camera lenses, people buy broken camera lenses. And stick to, do not trust the MSRP on the manifest, the retail price that they put on that manifest. So for example, they're going to give you a Ring doorbell and they're going to say, hey, this is a $400 unit. You know, your MSRP is $400. Well, you can't use that because that was $400 probably 3 years ago. And you have to look at comps on eBay, not just like you do thrifting. You got to look at sold prices and look at broken prices. Assume every item that you're going to get in that lot, at least the first 10% is going to be busted. So that's safe.
By the way, I think that's huge that you said that, because so basically a manifest is an Excel doc sometimes or whatever that shows exactly what's in the crate or big box that you're getting, and it will show everything listed there. So I'm curious, Chris, like what's the percentage of stuff that you buy? I mean, obviously it's different every single time. You probably can't put an exact number on there, but if you were to buy a pallet today, what percentage do you think is bad? Is it like 10, 20, 30%?
Could be average probably 20, 30. So you got to look at your buy price. A lot of times you have your auction price, you have your buyer's premium, which is like your eBay fee that adds on top of it, and then your shipping. So add all those up and then kind of give a flavor of what you think the top 20% of items can get you back, because it's going to be ordered in descending order in terms of value. So I look at the top 20% and I say, am I going to make my money back in this? If I'm not, I pass.
So Chris, tell me, I think it was 2 live shows. I recommended people do this. Tell me what you think, right? And by the way, guys, if I'm wrong, I don't mind being wrong at all. In fact, I like being wrong sometimes because I like to learn. I think if you're closed-minded, you can't learn, you can't grow. So a couple live shows back, I recommended people that are just starting out, even if they're just doing clothing and they have no idea that they want to do bulk buying, whether it's liquidation lots, wholesale, or they're just looking to bulk buy a bunch of inventory at their doorstep. I recommended saving 5 to 10% or more, but 5 to 10%, would be a comfortable number of every single sale that you're doing currently on eBay, taking that money and just saving it, whether it's in the savings account or wherever the case may be. That way, if a wholesale or liquidation lot or big bulk buying opportunity, which happens all the time on marketplace like Facebook and Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and liquidation and wholesale and all that good stuff, they'll have the capital to purchase it. I see so many people that just don't have the capital to purchase it, and they see something, because they didn't save for it. They don't have a good, lump of cash to take advantage when those opportunities arise. So what do you recommend people that want to get into liquidation? Is there can you name off 5 things, both financially or, maybe some tips or tricks for somebody that's completely new to this game, but want to get some inventory at their doorstep?
I would say, yeah, it's a good source to do it, but just realize there's work and you could lose money. So don't look at it and say, I'm going to make $500 off this lot. You could make 0. So you have to understand that you could lose your money, but the risk and the potential is there as well. So you follow what you know to start with, right? Know your products. Don't fall in love with something that is right on the top of the box, because for all intents and purposes, that thing could not even be in the box. It could be completely empty. Look at your buy price, understand all your fees and your shipping. People will go and they'll start bidding on it, not realize that it was a pallet that weighed 500 pounds. Now they have to add $300 on top of that for shipping. So go to what you know, I would say. and kind of think everything's going to be broken and how you would go about. You have to think a little differently, right? Because if I go pick up a polo shirt at the thrift store, I'm looking at it. I know there's no snags, and I know what I can get for it. Whereas liquidation lot, I'm buying kind of a mystery box. It might be there. It might not be there. I might have to do something extra. I might have to get creative to make some money on it. So do the work and go to what you know to start, I would say.
And that's huge too, because one of those things that when I first started eBay, I started selling vintage Nike because that's what I love. And then it kind of bloomed into other stuff. So like whatever you're doing, eBay or any of these other platforms, it's good to do what you know, just like Chris said, because you already know about the product. So you're going to be kind of an expert already before you get started. Chris, can you give me like a few websites that you recommend buying liquidation lots? Believe it or not, Blue Lots reached out to me a week and a half ago by two people. It's one of their marketing directors and somebody else. And they said, hey, would you like to do a review on our products on the, they would send me a pallet and I would do a review in front of everybody. I never responded only because that's just, I nothing against the site, guys. I think it's a lot of people use that site. I'm not one of those that like to showcase products for, people to review. I'm just not really into that yet. But that being said, Chris, what's a few sites that you like buying liquidation lots from?
So obviously I like liquidation.com, so I'll give you some tips as I go through them. So liquidation.com, great website. Understand the fees. There's an auction price, buyer's premium, and shipping. And understand if it's a package auction or a pallet auction or a truckload auction. That's going to determine your price. They have a calculate shipping, so you can kind of get an idea what you're going to pay. For liquidation.com, I personally stick to electronics and tools. I only stick to this sourced by Amazon seller. Those are Amazon returns, so those are higher quality products versus Joe Schmo who's selling $5,000 worth of headphones. I do like them, so that's kind of was my first go-to. Blue Lots is great. Their product is exactly what they say it is. They're great because Jesse Carmichael, if you need something, you can reach out to him. He's in the PS 101 group. If you have questions about things, you can see pictures. The manifest is accurate. The only issue I've had, and I've talked to them about it, was their prices can be just break even. So you either have to wait for a coupon code, wait for them to drop the price, and just be wary of the price on there. But great product. I bought baby lots from them. They've sold all the time. My bike seats are finally selling finally. So Blue Lots is great. I have not bought from B-Stock. Those are really the only two that I've done so far. But yeah, those are the two only right now. Now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say real quick, Chris, can you go over, you said there was 3 shipping options. Can you go over that kind of like a little bit about like what's the 3 shipping options that you can get?
So what's nice about Blue Lots is they have a flat fee. So they're kind of different just because you could either pay 40, 80, or 100 or 200 bucks for shipping. But for example, liquidation, as long as any other probably liquidation site you do, most of it's going to be packaged. You want to make sure if it's going to ship UPS, it's a package rate, and that is strictly going to be the fee for the weight and dim. The second is pallet and truckload. So pallet and truckload kind of behave the same. The fact is that if you have a dock that can receive that product, you will only be paying the shipping charge to get to that dock. Now, if you're at your house, they're probably going to charge you a lift gate fee as well as a residential fee because they're going to bring this big semi to your house. And if you're not home, you got to figure out how to get in your garage or if you have the space for it. So what I did was I had the UPS guy. He jacked it, he had a lift gate. I opened the garage while I was at work, watching him on my camera. He dropped it in, and then he left. So those shipping items, you got to be careful on shipping. Always make sure you know shipping before you hit purchase, because I've seen too many people burned on shipping.
And really quick, let's say that you have questions about shipping on any platform. Do you just give them a call directly, or how does that work?
I either call. I usually just message them. I'll have direct lines to the actual Blue Lots, the Jesse. I'll Facebook message him. I've even said, hey, is this brand new in the box? Does it work? And they'll go out to the warehouse. Liquidation.com, I'll call if it looks funky, or I'll send an email. There's like support@liquidation.com. I've seen single package lots. They had the shipping at like $500, and I knew it wasn't $500. They said, oh yeah, that's a typo. So yeah, I'll usually reach out electronically.
Now, I'm really curious. Tell me, like, if you've had, let's say you get your pallet and there's something off, right? You're the expert. I'm sure you've had that. What do you do? Like, let's say you bought a pallet and half of it's gone. Like, how do you go? Like, give us like a scenario when something went bad, and how did you get it resolved?
So usually, if I'm missing, I make sure the top items that I want in that lot are there. If it's a little, I've gotten random, screws and little stuff, and I don't validate that against manifest. I validate what I want and what I know is in there. If the little stuff's missing, or some of even the medium stuff, it's usually not worth the hassle. You're not going to get much back. If it's like the top item, that's where I'll reach out. So here's one example I had. Someone returned a set of headphones, and I'll tell you what, be wary of headphones, but the main item was missing. So what they did was they switched out. Nice pair of headphones. They put doll furniture and a random Plantronics headphone, taped it in there, and put it in the box. So I think I have a video. This was like last year. Usually sites, they'll have dispute options. So liquidation.com, you can take pictures. You could submit a dispute to the website. A lot of times you will get back a percentage of, like they gave me back 12%. I think it was like $25. But every little dollar counts when you're dealing with that stuff. So don't get discouraged if things are missing. That happens. But do reach out and try and understand if it's really like the item that they were showcasing, then they should be able to support you with that.
So I know we're taking one step back, but I kind of wanted to see if you knew how are these liquidation companies getting merchandise from these big box stores? We know what type of merchandise it is, but they just have contacts within, how does that work?
So from my understanding, they'll be the middleman. So what they'll do is the smaller companies will buy truckloads from Target. They'll go on B stock. They'll buy, a truckload of pallets from Target, and then they'll say, hey guys, I'm selling pallets, and someone will then break them down. It's a whole channel, right? It could be 5 different people touching them before you do. So you're getting the markup. Or it could be big contracted companies that will have a contract with Amazon, and all Amazon will do is they'll shove their returns at them. Now, I don't know how they pay each other, but they basically say, okay, you're my returns liquidator for the Northeast. I'm just going to give you my returns and you sell them. And they probably give them a percentage back. But and a lot of times, like Amazon, I've heard that people think about, oh, they're going to take the best stuff out. Why don't they just sell it for themselves, make the money that way? They're dealing in such high volume that all they want to do is sell these pallets and get rid of them and I'm making stuff up, 10% margin, and buy another truck. They're dealing in volume. They're not breaking open for headphones and doorbells and all that.
I was just going to say the same thing. I think that they just don't care,
Yeah.
So I'm a new buyer. Let's say, you listed off a few sites. What's the most user-friendly? And before I ask this question, guys in chat, do me a solid here. In chat, tell me, have you bought liquidation pallets before? I want to know who has and who hasn't in chat. And then, so type 1 if you have, 2 if you haven't, and 3 if you're interested. I'm curious. 1 if you have, 2 if you haven't, and 3 if you're interested. But that being said, Chris, tell me, you list off a few ways, like what's the most user-friendly, would you say, liquidation site that for the new person, just to get their feet wet?
I mean, I started with liquidation. I'm kind of biased to that, liquidation.com, just because probably I think all of them have manifests on it. You can go in there. There's a manifest button on the right-hand side. They have pictures. I have not bought off bulk yet. I haven't bought them, but I like liquidation just because the sheer volume of stuff that they have. It's just like eBay. You go in and you bid on stuff. So you can bid on a couple things at a time. You can consolidate shipping. You can look at the manifest. So what I do is I click on the manifest button. I will take the top 10% and I will just basically take those items, go on eBay, and search for comps on those. And I look at the auction price and I kind of figure out my total price and figure out, okay, can I make my money back at least on this? yeah, take a chance, bid on it. The bad thing about liquidation, and I say bad thing, you cannot snipe auctions on liquidation.com. If you go in with, I think it's the last 5 minutes, they'll extend the auction another 5 minutes. So just beware, you can't snipe, which kind of stinks.
And you're talking to a guy that's got good stuff from sniping and bad. I've got stuff dropped on me with storage units.
Yeah, I'm sure.
and yeah, oh my gosh. That's another time for another day. But all right, so tell me, everybody keeps saying in chat, Rusty Raccoon. We have, I know he, by the way, let me give a little shout out to Rusty Raccoon real quick. So I was peeping on your channel, guys. I joke around with you guys and say you're lurkers without YouTube channels, but I'm a big lurker. Okay. So I was on Rusty Raccoon's latest YouTube video, and he bought a big pallet. And this was recently, I think a few days ago, or maybe, sooner. And animals had gone on there and chewed it up.
Ooh.
So there's that. Have you ever had that, Chris, where you've had rodents in the?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
That would be a first for me.
Yeah, that must have been out, because I know that a lot of times some locations like auction houses will put pallets out and then you go out there and you bid on them. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know, or in a big warehouse. So everybody in chat, to go back to my question, everybody in chat saying you're good with coupons. Can you explain what a coupon is? I know we know what a coupon is, but how does that correlate with liquidations?
So usually I'll have like a $20 off coupon. So I try to do things, random trivia questions I'll do. Every month I'll give away a $20 coupon. Basically what you can do is once you go and bid on your liquidation.com lot, you can, once you go check out, you put in your code and it'll take $20 off the top. So some are coming up, like this month, we're going to have a choice. So it's going to kind of be like a scavenger hunt. You're going to go to liquidation.com. You're going to search for certain things. First person with the answer will get a choice of 10% off, $20 off of the auction prices, or $40 free shipping.
That's not bad. Now, Chris, tell me a little bit about first and foremost, I want to say that I appreciate you coming on here because I'm for one getting a ton of nuggets here, and I think it's just really cool. But I want to talk a little bit about networking side of liquidation. I think networking is really key. I talked about it a few videos ago. So explain from when because I know, just like storage units, I remember my first storage unit that I bought and it was horrible. It was the worst one I ever bought. But tell me a little bit about how first of all, how relationships have helped you today, and when you're first brand new, what it takes to build those relationships.
So relationships and liquidation is pretty key, right? You do not want to go to a liquidation site, Jim Bob's Liquidation, go buy a pallet and you're stuck with a box full of leaves. You want to know the person and the company you're buying from. So when I found I found PS 101 Group. That's where I learned about ASD, which is they have a show every 6 months in Vegas, and it's wholesalers, closeouts, liquidators. But basically, this group is where I learned about that, as well as networking with other people that buy and sell liquidation. So developing those relationships within that group to be able to say, hey, hey, John, I know you're selling pallets at Target. I'm looking for XYZ. I'll buy pallets off you. Let me know when you have them, and I'll buy them. It's all a relationship game. It's who you know, what they're getting, just like the storage auction, right? You know what they have. You know what auctions are coming. So it basically allows you to get around the buying the junk, right? People just trying to offload stuff, trying to buy people trying to sell you 500 cell phone cords or knock off cell phone cases. You're never going to sell that stuff, potentially. At least I won't. But relationships like that. Now getting there, trade shows, so the ASD helps, as well as, Facebook groups, meeting everybody on YouTube. But it's definitely key.
Now, first of all, I think that event that you're speaking of, is it coming up or was it already done? I think it's coming up, right? Or could
in March and one at beginning of August, and it's 3 days.
So it was already done. One of my good friends, here that we did a partnership on a storage unit a week or 2 weeks ago. He goes there. So, so do you have like a, first and foremost, like this, this web, or, you know, the group that you're mentioning on Facebook, like, is it a free group that anybody can join?
Yeah, you can go in there, join the group. They have partners, so liquidator partners, closeout partners that basically have product that you can buy in terms of packages, pallets. They'll post stuff up. You can reach out directly, message with the people. That's how I learned about Blue Lots. I got into liquidation.com before finding that group, but that group then eventually helped me find ASD, and I was able to. They have a meetup every 6 months at ASD. So in August, we'll go to meetup, hang out, and meet people. That's where the networking helps. But yeah, it's a great group.
Now, do they ever reach out to you now that you have these relationships? Like, you're obviously reaching out to them when you want to buy pallets, but do they reach out to you first before they put it on the site to say, hey, we've got this coming up on the site? Like, what's the benefits of networking?
I mean, with those groups, I have not purchased off them in the group yet, but they do. I've heard of like, I've networked with a guy who's a store in Missouri. With that site, he's met these wholesalers, liquidators that say, hey, I know you're looking for this. I just got it in. Do you want it for 10 grand? So that's how they're using it to find product. But I have not used it that way yet.
Now, I can tell you that one thing that, I don't know if I mentioned this, Chris, but you got to also understand too, like, you know, it's when you have to go out and thrift for 2 to 3 hours a day, find your items, bring it back. You've got to incorporate that too. Like when you buy liquidation pallets, or if you buy anything that comes to your house, to your door, you're not spending a few hours going out and getting merchandise. So I think right there alone, you can kind of, you know, figure, hey, if I don't have to spend 3 hours to find this merchandise, like you can spend a little bit more time going through these pallets if there's issues. You know, it's kind of like just a little bit extra to help you if there is possibly some issues, or, you know, your time is money. I really truly believe that. Like the other day, I source on Sundays and Mondays, because Sundays is when the new color comes out in Goodwill here locally. And I'll spend hours out there, 6-7 hours, you know. That's why I think it's key for me to do like something that comes to my door, you know, at least 20 to 30%, especially since I'm full time. I need that income, right? It's expensive. Kids are expensive, right, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that being said, guys, we've got another 15 minutes or so, but I want to see if you guys have questions. Like, what type of questions do you have for him? You can definitely tell you can pick your brain and get these nuggets out. And while people are asking, putting in questions in chat for the 70 people that are watching, please hit the like button for Chris. Let's get him. It doesn't pay us as creators, but it gets this video out. So Chris, why people are thinking of questions to ask, give me a little snapshot about you. Like, you kind of gave us a little bit about your family life and how you got started on eBay and how you're selling online. But give us a little snapshot on you. Like, what's in the future for your YouTube channel? Let's talk about your YouTube channel a little bit. Like, what kind of stuff do you offer on there? I know you've got a lot of good nuggets and good videos on there, but what does it look like?
So basically what I go live every night at 10. I'm trying to do a daily vlog now, trying to get that up at 10 a.m. So for me, it's kind of hard for me just because I do the same thing day in, day out. So it's kind of boring. I go to work, come home, work on stuff, go to bed. So for that piece, you know, the YouTube channel, I'm actually have a liquidation lot coming Friday. So I'm going to put out a new series on basically what we're talking about, liquidation, what to look for, how to do it, how to buy it. And then the other thing is scaling, right? So we talked about time being a constraint. How can I maximize my time at the same time while scaling my business? So I'm using ASD. I've started to buy brand new product. I've started to use FBA, trying to scale it to be less time intensive on the back side and more on the front side of sourcing and basically getting it and letting it work for itself.
Isn't it amazing? Like when those storage unit doors open, it's like Christmas for me. Like I get like this natural high, these butterflies. What about for you? Like, first and foremost, I've never done that, but screw drugs, right? Guys, everybody should just do like liquidation or storage units. Like, you get natural high from doing this. So tell me a little bit about your like when you get the pallet, you kind of know what's in there, but isn't like a Christmas like a really cool feeling when you show up and it's in your garage and you're looking through it?
Oh yeah. So just to touch on before I get into that, I also have a Liquidation OH Facebook group. So if you guys have more questions, feel free to join the Facebook group. We're always talking about thrifting, liquidation, and doing all that stuff. So come on over, hang out. But yeah, buying a box. I see the box on the doorstep, right? You know, same thing. I open the box doors and looking at it and say, okay, what am I going to find? What's going to be junk and what's going to be great? I bought, or you find something you never even thought of, right? You find something in that box. Sometimes that's not even on the manifest. That's worth a couple $100. Like, oh, they didn't even tell me about this. It's a fish finder that I sold for $150. And the fun part for me is I keep a line item detail of every product I touch, no matter where I get it from, to liquidation, wholesale, thrifting, blue lots, whatever. So I like putting in my numbers so it automatically calculates and I can see my plus or minus on each lot. I love when I do it and I hit a positive, so I know the rest of the stuff's profit.
So can you speak a little bit about this? Because I think this is really key. How important are numbers when you're doing liquidation? How important are your numbers?
If I don't know where I'm at, how do I know I'm making any money? So if I go and buy a liquidation lot and I'm selling it on eBay, I'm selling it locally, and I bought it for $400, I mean, how do you know I should buy another one, right? Or I buy two more. You got to know where your profit turn is, where you're going to be positive or negative. Because if I'm negative, I'm not buying that next lot until I'm profitable on this one.
So we have another question. Guys, thanks for the questions. I appreciate it. I love these interviews because I am literally doing nothing over here besides feeling sick. And I've got Chris, my man, over here answering all the questions. It's beautiful. All right. What do you do? I'm just going to answer them in order. So Stitch Witch, which is an amazing viewer of mine, says, what do you do for fun to get off the hamster wheel occasionally? Which I really like that quote. Do you have any hobbies, activities? What do you do with the family, and what do you do yourself?
I'm trying to get back in the gym. I used to go to the gym 5 days a week. It's been tough, but I'm trying to get back into that. We as kids have skating practice Monday nights, swimming practice Wednesday nights. My son plays hockey Saturday mornings at 10. I still play soccer. I played in college. I play Sundays, and then just hanging out with the family, cleaning the house, cleaning the pool.
So what position do you play in soccer? I'm curious.
Defense. Sweeper stopper. Oh yeah.
Nice. Huh. I played soccer back in junior high. I was horrible.
What'd you play?
I actually played. I don't know exactly what it's called now, but I played right side offense. So I was decent, but
nice.
Okay, so wait 1 second. About your soccer. So did you get a scholarship to play?
I played D3, so it was a student scholarship.
Nice, nice. Okay, so another question is, how do you like blue lots? We talked a little bit about it, but good bulk buys to buy?
Yeah, so for blue lots, make sure you sign up. They just got an app now. As I think bulk has an app, so get that app. But sign up, put your email address, and actually I think they give you 5% off when you first sign up. But sign up for text alerts, sign up for emails. A lot of the great lots on that website go away really fast. Either I buy them or someone else buys them. But you'll get a text alert, and now they do it, I think, at 8 a.m., 6 p.m. But they list the lots. Now they're going to lot more, so you'll go out there, check real fast, buy them. Blue lots is good. Just be careful. They're a little high price sometimes. And if you have a problem with the price, reach out and say why you think it's a problem. And I've actually seen them adjust prices on it. So
that's a good tip.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. You guys know that you can negotiate at Walmart too, right? Like clearance section. Like the reason I bring that up is if you don't ask, you won't get. And so I buy a lot of stuff from Walmart clearance. And, for example, if it's marked down $3 a unit and I know they've had it for a while, what you can do is you go to the a little tip, guys, is I know this is a little off on a tangent, but it may help you. You go to the department manager first. So I found out that the department managers at Walmart are the actual ones that, know what the product price is, how long it's been on the shelf. They're in charge of their own department. So you go to the department manager first, and then you go to the store manager Or what will happen is you go to the department manager and they'll go to the store manager, and then they'll give you a better deal if the merchandise has been on there for a while. Now, I have done it where I bypassed the department manager and went right to the store manager at Walmart, because they have a thing that they can scan, and they know exactly when the product came in, and they know exactly how much Walmart paid for it. And that being said, guys, off on a little tangent, but go to the department manager and ask for a little bit more, say you'll buy it all, and then they'll go a lot of times to the store manager and you'll get a better deal. But to kind of piggyback on Chris, you gotta and think about this too, guys. Like, the more you reach out, the more like, I'm sure that if you bought from these sites regularly, you're gonna eventually find company contacts that you can contact and build even more relationships. So I think it's really cool. Question: all the trash can be a pain. What do you do with all of yours?
So all the stuff that I can sell, I'll sell online. Heavy stuff, I'll sell locally. The random junk that is like $5 or $2. We have garage sales here. So sometimes if I can, I'll try to lot it up. Or not lot it up. I'll sell it at a garage sale for a couple bucks. Or what I'll do is I'll lot it up, sell it that way. Or if it's broken items and it's pieces parts, I'll hold those pieces parts. As I get the same lots coming, I'll piece them out and use those pieces to complete other sets.
Do you ever get anything? I know that you do electronics, so probably not, but do you ever get anything and then your wife comes down and is like, "Ooh, I would like that"?
It's happened. Oh yeah.
That's happened.
Oh yeah. Power banks. I think she wanted a selfie stick once. Don't know why. Random stuff like that. I mean, I've even kept some stuff like, oh, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Even with thrifting, like polo shirts, I'm like, oh, I want to wear this one for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I list it and I'll wear it for a little bit, and then.
So, Chris, back in the day before you started thrifting, do you remember buying those expensive clothes at all the outlets? And then, and now you're thrifting. You're like, what did I do? Like, why did I spend so much money on retail? It's just crazy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you have any more questions, put it in chat. Now's the time. I wanted to touch a little bit lastly on your Facebook group. So tell me a little bit about how that works. First of all, if you can repeat the name, I'm scrolling up. But second of all, so you join the Facebook group. If you have questions, is there admins on there, people that know or can help?
Yeah. So it's basically Liquidation OH. Same. I try to keep my name across all platforms. So if you search for me, you'll find me. But basically, it's a group. They thrift. They'll buy the liquidation. They'll ask questions about it. I like to see people post pictures, videos of their sources, what they source, what they get, what they sold, process. It's basically what you're doing, right? But in a Facebook group form. I'm trying to get other people to contribute, which is great because now everyone learns. I learn things from them all the time. So trying to get them to help each other and help out.
Do you plan to go full time?
I don't know. I'd love to. I'd love to have, my own full-time business, but I have to make the numbers work. So that's where I'm looking at. I need to scale up and I need to find, so this is where I'm kind of scratching the surface of wholesale, getting that exponentially grown.
Replenishables and wholesale, guys. If you want to go full time, it's not like, believe me, this is not all cake. I can tell you, I have bought some wholesale, but I do want to, it's nice to be able to have stuff that's easily able to be listed. And one thing I like about wholesale and liquidation is a lot of times they have barcodes, so it's easier to list. It's different than, throwing up a vintage t-shirt or even a non-vintage clothing item or whatever the item is. Stuff with barcodes is easy, right, Chris?
Oh yeah. So that's a great point. Now for liquidation, do not plan to list liquidation on FBA, Amazon FBA. Liquidation, they'll put stickers over the UPCs and they're so hard to get off. It's just not worth your account doing that. I would not recommend it. Couple other tips. Headphones are hit or miss. Do not buy lots because of headphones. High-end headphones, yes. Low-end, don't. Be wary of lots with multiple units. So if I buy a whole pallet full of the same item, there's a reason why you're buying a liquidation full of the same item. Either it was defective or you could score, right? But that's kind of my tips. A couple things.
One thing too, Chris, is, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, a lot of hands have touched this merchandise and you're the last one to get it. You're going to be the highest markup a lot of times.
Yep.
So, you know, I can imagine looking at a liquidation lot that's all the same item. There's a reason why it's probably there. I mean, I could be wrong, and who knows, maybe you'll make some money. But you know, I'm sure that they've had contacts that they've sent out saying, hey, we have this, and people have passed. Like bigger buyers have probably looked at that same pallet. So I would just keep that in mind. Okay, so tell me what is in store for 2018 for you, Chris. Like, it doesn't need to be, you know, just reselling in general, because I know that you're on multiple platforms. What's in store? How are you gonna like basically get your game to a higher level in the rest of the year, especially fourth quarter?
Yep. Goals this year. So we do goals all the time in the group. I put trying to get people to put their own goals. I'm trying to motivate people, but replenishables. So this year I need to do a better job of replenishables. I love multi-quantity listings. That listing does the work for you. I bought 60 bike seats and I haven't had to touch it forever. Selling continuously. Process and time management. I need to get my inventory better organized. I need to clear some stuff out. And growing the wholesale closeout newer items. So I just bought a whole case of non-branded PlayStation 3 controllers, and I'm selling those locally like crazy. So finding those brand new finding closeouts on merchandise, hats, logos. I love logos, but trying to find those items that are multi-quantity.
And I just have one more question here. So, like, how are you keeping track of bookkeeping? Are you using QuickBooks, or are you using, you know, what are you using to keep track of all your numbers? Because this is definitely a numbers game, especially what you're doing, because you're constantly buying pallets and like what sold, what didn't sell, like what's the percent of waste, like how are you keeping track?
So I put everything on Google Sheets so I can access it from my phone. I do not use any other software. But basically I track line item. I have different tabs for different. I have a thrifting tab, a wholesale tab. It all feeds into one tab. It does all the math. I share the template if anyone wants it. But it's line item detail, so I can keep track of fees, shipping, supplies, a high level. But it's all in there. I track it by hand.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they buy bulk anything, they'll average it out. So if you spent $500 on that pallet, they'll just basically average that out, you know, depending on how many items they are. And that's pretty much what you paid per item, you know, so it's just an easier way sometimes too. That's what I do.
Personally, I hate that, because you could say my landed cost each item is $2, but you're only going to sell 10 of the 200 items. Well, your cost per item is really $50.
Oh, so, yeah. Well, you got to remember, I'm more of a clothing seller, but I can definitely see that being an issue.
Yeah. I like seeing.
Oh yeah, and guys, any guy like Chris who can wear a magenta shirt like that and pull it off and be as amazing as he is, like, come on.
Award for you.
It's really, I got it. Magenta shows up extremely well on the camera. So, all right, guys. Well, that being said, I just want to say I think it's really, really cool. You know, here's one thing about social media isn't it really cool that you can meet people around the world and connect with them? Like, you know, had Chris not been on here, for a lot of you guys, you would not have really known or got this information. So I highly recommend you start something new. Like, originally it was, I'm only going to sell Nike. That was my thought. And it's only going to be men's. And then it went to women's. And then today I'm taking pictures of dolls, you know, I'm taking pictures of dolls and a Kate Spade purse, which I didn't bring that up because of the recent news. So just weird stuff like that. And I've got so much weird stuff that I'm taking pictures of now, like this little wooden box. Like, if you would have told me that I'd be selling like women's bras and everything else 6-8 months ago, I would have told you you're crazy. So the reason I bring that up, guys, is this may be a completely new like experience for you, like buying liquidation, but it seems like Chris has got a really cool foundation with the Facebook group, and he dropped a lot of knowledge here. I highly recommend you go to his YouTube channel and binge watch his YouTubes. Be a creeper like me, or a lurker. I love to watch people on YouTube. And then let's see, let me just make sure I've got everything here. And then lastly, Chris, every night at 10 p.m. you said you go live?
Yep. I try to do 10 p.m. I do 10 p.m. every night, and I'm trying to do schedule videos around 10 a.m. in the morning.
That's all. I don't know how you sleep. You better have a really good mattress. No wonder he buys all these pallets, guys. He's up 24 hours. All right, guys, please like the video. It will get him out to the world. And please subscribe to his YouTube channel if you're watching this after the fact. Make sure you subscribe. You click the little bell button because we've got really, really cool interviews going on. And guys, make sure you check out 10 p.m. I just want to see if he's still like coherent, you know, because he works so hard. I know how it is having a full-time job and doing eBay, especially liquidation. It's got to be tough. That being said, guys, Chris, we always end off, you've seen my shows, we always end off with words of inspiration. Do you have any words of inspiration?
I mean, I like don't make excuses and just do it. I mean, a lot of people think too much. You just got to jump in, take the risk, and do it.
And Susan, that by the way, just be a doer, guys. Crush it, because only you can make the difference. I think that's really cool, Chris. One last question: is it Eastern time, 10 p.m. or Western time?
Yep.
Eastern. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, that being said, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for
No, you're more than welcome, guys. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.